All right, guys, so I'm going to start the podcast because sometimes Lowe's, JC, we got the whole team.
Got directed by Carlos in the building. Podcast.
It was bound to happen, bro.
Yeah, episode number 5. That's it. If you guys don't know, this is going to be a good episode, man. You're going to learn a lot from this guy, such a young guru in the game. Stay tuned. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Los Cut It, and you're in the cut with today's guest and my homie, Baby Horchata. What's up, Ruben?
¿Qué onda? ¿Cómo están, man? And today's guest, as always, we got a banger for y'all, man. And today we got Directed by Lowe's. What's good, Pop?
Hey, what's good, guys? Thank you so much for having me, man.
Of course, man.
It was bound to happen, I feel like.
Oh, it's a must. Directed by Lowe's or directed by Carlos? Did you make the name officially to change? Did you change it yet?
No, I mean, dude, just directed by Lowe's.
Carlos, all above. Dope, man. All right, so
There's too many Carloses in here,
All
bro.
the above. Yeah, that's right.
If
It's
you
so
guys
funny,
don't know,
every single time we're in the room, we got to tell people, like, all right, this is Lowe's, this is Carlos. Just a heads up.
I tell people, like, I'm the only one that can call him Lowe's simply because I'm not talking to myself. But everybody else usually gets confused and be like, Carlos. Oh, dude, it sucks. But outside of that, if you guys don't know who Directed by Carlos is, man, he's the man responsible behind 90% of my content, visuals. What's it been, like 2 years, 3 years?
It's been since 2019, late 2019.
Almost 3 years. 3 and some change.
It's crazy.
It's
It
crazy.
feels like more than that. But,
Oh, man.
but at the same time, it just feels like I just met you last year.
Facts. Right. No,
I
mean,
feel work-wise, it feels like 5 years. but
Yeah, if you think of all the stuff-
relationship-wise, more like a year, bro.
if you think of all the stuff that we've been through, and then you be like, damn, that was only 3 years, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I think the
And it
pandemic,
really does.
the
fly.
pandemic had a lot to do with that, though. It kind of put us in a situation where we were just home all year because we couldn't travel and we were just creating content. So we
And
did
just
a
get
lot.
creative, like generally as like just not just friends, but business partners.
Facts.
We really just goes to show that with so much happening and so much stuff that we've been doing, it just flies. And you know,
facts. Oh, dude.
there's so many stories.
Time flies when you're busy, they say, right? But, dude, I'm happy you're here, dude. I haven't seen you in a while. I haven't caught up with you. I just cut your hair. We kept a minimal conversation because we didn't want to talk about anything going on. But just to kind of shine light for those of you guys that don't know who Carlos is, at what, 24 now?
25.
25?
Yeah,
Jeez.
Jovencito, bro.
Oh, my. No, I met him when you were, what, 21? 22?
No, I was like 19, I think.
You were working
No.
No, you were in that. It was like 3 years ago. So you were 22.
It's been a minute,
Yeah, you were
bro.
22.
Yeah.
You were 22.
Yeah.
You were working at Adidas, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Yeah, and I remember, and for those of you people that don't know, listen, first time I ever met Carlos was how it went about. Let me share the story real quick, because Ruben, you have no idea probably, right? Check this out. All the time that I hear people always talking about, oh, where can I find a videographer? How can I find somebody? How can I this? How can I that? Dude, at the end of the day, just do your research, one. But two, take initiative. What I did, it was my 32nd birthday party. I can't remember. And I had a buddy of mine that we had booked up for to do the recap for my birthday party. I had a badass neon party set up, and he canceled on me that morning of, or the night before, or something
It
like
was
that.
like the night before you told me.
Yeah,
You're
so
like, oh, hey, I can't make it.
and I was bummed, dude. And at this point, I didn't know anybody else, especially last minute. So what I do, I went on Instagram and I just put hashtag Chicago videographer. Now, one of the perks of, I feel like I was able to find Carlos and I enjoyed his work because I knew videography. It wasn't like a lot of people that just don't know it. So that anybody that can call themselves a videographer, they'll be like, oh yeah, we'll hire you, without really knowing what that person specializes in. So being familiar with videography, I kind of knew what I was looking for. Obviously, I didn't want to bring somebody who I thought I was better than.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it was like, well, nah.
What I need you,
Yeah,
yeah.
what I need you for. I could just have somebody film it, I'll do whatever. As I'm scrolling down, I'm seeing all these people. Amazing work. Chicago got some amazing talent, but his work stood out. Real quick, long story short, send him a DM. And at the time, what'd you charge me, Lowe's? Like 150?
It was like 150 bucks.
$150 he charged me. And mind you, my videographer, who's my buddy, was going to charge me $400.
Yeah.
Oh,
So 150, I was like, whew. I was like, run it. And I'm going through his, like, all
catalog,
his work. And I'm like, this guy's nice. And he comes over, he meets me the next day.
Yeah.
First of all, shows up on time, punctual, very good energy, very cool. I got a lot going on. It's my birthday party. I got a lot going on. And I was like, dude, do whatever you want. He's like, yeah, man, I got my drone. Pulls out the drone. I'm like, hell yeah. And then he pulls out his little gimbal and he puts his cell phone on it. He's like,
that's so funny.
He's like, all right, bro, what do you want me to film? And I was like, wait, what? Where's your camera? He's like, oh, no, I do everything on my phone. And at the time, I was like, what? Nah, bro, your phone? Like I even said it on my last podcast, like, yo, I'm about to fire this guy real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
You're gonna film my birthday party on a cell phone? Like, get out of here. But I went back on his Instagram, I looked at his page, and I was like, okay, it's super clean. And then he did it, dude, in 24-hour turnaround. He sent me a video, and ever since then, I mean, that was history. Now, that was from my perspective, Los. Everything that I just shared was how I envisioned it. What was your perspective like?
No, it was dope. Just it's so funny because like right when you reached out, I remember going through my DMs and asking my barber. I'm like, hey, you know this guy? He seems pretty big. So I'm like, I hit him up for the question, and he's like, yeah, he seems like a good dude. I've seen some of his work, this and that. It'd be a good opportunity for you. I'm like, all right, cool. So I just hopped into that, and surely enough, man, like we worked together, and it was just a good experience to have someone that is as successful as you to kind of be there at the start. So I feel like that's what since you really got me at the peak of me starting out, it was a great like way for me to kind of jump off with ideas and just have someone creative along by my side. But it was pretty crazy how like the whole thing kind of just seamlessly worked out. And ever since then, like I think like the next week after, like you sent me a meme, I'm like, all right, cool. So we're officially like meme partners. So
That's
we
funny,
send each other the memes. But yeah, I mean, other than that, it's like it's just been a good time, and it just feels like it wasn't too long ago, but we've done so much already, and so much work has been put out in your socials that we just it was
Viral.
just us being us and getting ideas. So yeah, man. Overall, I knew it was gonna be one of those friendships that will last. Like as soon as I met you, I'm like, oh, he's a cool ass dude. He knows what's up. He already knows the videography game. But yeah, man. Overall, it's like it was just bound to happen. I feel like.
That's so dope. Now, we got my perspective. We got Carlos's perspective. Baby Horchata, like, when did you first hear about Carlos? Or is this your first time even?
Yeah, I think this is our second time actually meeting.
Third
so that's what's
time.
up, bro.
It was third time.
Get it right, bro.
Dude, my bad. I'm sure you're as busy as me. Like,
No, because
You got so many people.
It was the second day that me and Carlos were talking. That's when we were talking about setting up that comedy show. It was at his private party for the boxing match, and that's where I met you. But I already knew about you because I'm in the film area as well. Just in like the movie area, not the content creator. I ain't that good because y'all are just a different beast. I don't, y'all. Bro,
it's just a whole different industry, bro.
Dude. It's just.
But like at the same time, like kind of plays together. But man,
I can't even say that, bro, because I don't know how well we would transition into making things that are like supposed to be an hour to 30 minutes to putting it under a minute. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it's been
I think it mentally, like it does take a toll. Like I'd say content creation in general just takes a toll on the mind, and it's just so nuanced. All this content creation is so nuanced that our kind of like our bodies are just like mentally always working and trying to get ideas and trying to figure out what to post the next day. And it does take a toll, but I feel like the official movie route, it's more of like a planning, and there's so many people and there's so many. So it's a different type of stress, but it's still stress nonetheless, for sure.
No, yeah, I definitely not say, what I'm saying, it's easy, like, but it's just, I don't know, like, because even right now, too, you gave me a tip, hey, maybe you should have done this, and I'm like, oh, man, he right, because, showing someone that does this, that does this, that, to the other eyes, they're like, oh, that's a nice video, but then, we don't understand that, the longevity of things, people's, like, perspective, like, okay, this is kind of too long. Maybe I would have caught more people's eyes. That people would stay if it was, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and for those of you listening, to kind of give you some context, he had a video he was showing me earlier, and I just gave him some tips. I'm like, oh, hey, you should do this, this, and that. So just a recommendation for those of you watching, I actually do recommend having friends alike that do the same thing, because then they'll help you point out what they like and what they don't like. So, I mean, just keep that in mind. Definitely be surrounded by like those type of people. And if you're not, then just stay focused and stay focused on your content creation and really just keep your head down.
Yeah,
until you find those people.
Don't keep yes man in your team. Let me rephrase that. You can keep yes man on your team, but just don't keep them as yes men. Los, you always gave it to me raw, dude. There's times where I worked on a video for like 3 days, 45 seconds in, a minute in, and I'll send it to him, and within like 2 seconds, he's just like, nah. I was like, damn. Well, what do you mean now? Then he's like, it's too long. I remember specifically the video we did with Tiara. We did
Did you shoot
Mastermind.
that?
It was
You
me.
shoot that? Or I did?
Ricky recorded it. I edited it. Mastermind did the photos. She was like the little devil, like I was all red and all that. I had it 45 seconds in because think about it. We had a haircut, makeup, photo shoot, and the photos. I was like 45 seconds in. Now, if you're doing 3-4 hours of work into 45 seconds, ooh, that's a lot. That takes skill to tell a story. I showed it to him. He's like, it's too long, bro. I was like, what do you mean it's too long? I can't.
It's just like I gotta watch it. Like sometimes what I do is like I'll go scrolling, right? I'll scroll through reels, and I'm like, all right, quick little, show me the video, see what I would react when I'm scrolling through the video. And then as soon as I get the thought of like keep scrolling, I'm like, all right, dude, this is too long. You gotta like cut it short.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, like you said, you just gotta, you know, at the end of the day, just have to tell it how it is.
But listen,
you can't really.
he got it down. Guess how long?
30 seconds.
He got it down to 10 seconds.
Get out of here.
10 seconds, and it went hard, bro. It went so hard, and it went so hard on TikTok that they had to block it off because she was out here like
Yeah.
she wasn't showing her
it
breasts.
was like too much, right? I think.
Nipples were covered,
Yeah.
but it was too much for TikTok. But it went hard, 10 seconds. But it was at that moment. How long ago was that? Probably like a year ago, give or take.
No, I would probably say like
Earlier
couple
this
months.
year, maybe.
Yeah, a couple
earlier
months.
this year, and that was when I realized I'm like, damn, this guy's onto something. Like, no longer are people, because you gotta understand, bro. 5 years ago, it was all about who has the best camera.
Yeah.
My contract with Level 3 required me to do 2-minute videos for social media, and it was only not like a few months ago that Carlos went up to Jay, CEO of Level 3, and was like, "You can't do 2 minutes no more, man. I gotta keep everything under a minute." And even for me, I was like, "Damn, how? Like, no one's gonna what?"
Yeah.
And now what everyone's doing is
It is on there.
15 seconds, 30 seconds,
Yeah.
max 45 seconds. So, how did you figure that out, Los?
Dude, it's just a lot of consuming. You gotta like obsess over it in a sense. Like Los knows. You might not know. Like Los knows that I don't really watch a lot of movies, but what I do consume is a lot of YouTube, a lot of TikTok, a lot of Reels. So like I'm constantly consuming and producing these type of videos, and then slowly but surely you'll start to see patterns. Like, oh, this is cut too short. Oh, this has really good, great titles, and that's why it stands out. But overall, it's just being surrounded around that YouTube, TikTok, and Reels, Instagram Reels gives you kind of an idea of like the entire, not entire, but mostly like the environment that you're witnessing and you're outputting. So I don't know, man. It's just more of like a maybe like a subconscious thing that you kind of start recognizing, and you're like, oh, why did I stop on this video? Oh, it's because the actual big title and having a consistent like rhythm to the video. So overall, just little stuff that you kind of catch on, but it definitely has to do with a lot of consuming and producing and repetition, like like everything, right? You start doing a lot of reels, and you look back and see which ones that actually work for you. You're like, oh, okay, so these type of videos, and eventually, if you start posting every single day, then you're gonna get really, really good at it eventually.
That's true. And one of the biggest things I learned from you was storytelling. Like before, we used to make content that made us look cool. Like you have the barber coming in with the cape, pulling up in his Benz, getting out the car, walking in, turning on the lights, putting the cape. Like it was always about the barber. And we slowly started transitioning into, well, let's not make it about the barber. Let's make it about the person, the interaction. And these are all things that I got from him because he was just always about storytelling. And sometimes, like for example, the video that went viral, 6.8 million views on TikTok, the bald headed with the braids.
Yeah.
They came in, we did an actual shoot for Level 3 that was all three of us filming it professionally, breaking down the steps and all that. And then last minute we're like, well, let's do another one, but this one is just do storytelling. Let's pick up these guys, bring them in, and just see what happens without showing steps. Let's just see what happens. And just off of that, you can see how that one just went to 6.7 million. I think the other one got almost 100K views, but it's a big difference in and how he envisioned it and wanting to film it on the phone. Like not even like, oh, we don't need a camera, just everything raw phone. And I'm just like, damn. So that's when I learned to be like, all right, not only do I have to listen to this guy, but he's also, you're 25, you're 10 years younger than me. So I have to pay attention to what's relevant in your generation. You know what I mean? Because the way I think, I feel like we're old souls. You know, we have, well, you're 27.
Yeah.
But I feel like you have an old soul.
Damn, Los already giving them the comparison.
He was like, yeah, we're in the our knees hurt.
I was like, no, man, I just like, I'm open-minded. And it goes back to the thing I was saying at one of my podcasts a while back. And I was like, how many times that we've said, man, I wish I was thinking like that when I was your age. How many times have people told you that? A lot, right?
Yeah, you got a couple,
Yeah.
but you got to just keep perspective at the end of the day.
But what I've done is, instead of always saying that to yourself, like, oh, I wish I would have thought like you. I wish I would have, if I knew what I know now, man, when I was your age. So what I do is I'd like to hang around with people that are younger than me, like you, and I give you my wisdom and what I've learned, and then you add whatever you're good at, and that's how we're
it's a
able-
great exchange for sure.
Yeah, it's a great exchange because now you get my wisdom and I could tell you certain things that you can learn off, and I could definitely learn from you. So anybody watching there that feels like they might be older in the game or too old to be making TikToks or videos or content, so whatever your excuse or reason may be, if you're old enough and you feel like you have enough wisdom, then tag team with somebody or team up with somebody that's younger, that's more relevant in today's generation with the social media, and share your wisdom and your knowledge and your power, and with whatever it is that they're doing that you like, and then comparing both. I mean, that's what we
Yeah, I
did,
agree.
right?
I would- but I wish-
definitely like one thing on that point is like always keep an open mind, because even me, sometimes I put out ideas that I don't think would do as good, and then they do as good, or vice versa. But like always want to keep an open mind every time I give Los like some criticism or like just in general. Los is always like, oh, okay, I can see this, and that. But like generally, whenever you're getting, you don't want to be stuck in your own circle. You always want to keep try to get more people that are kind of different or a different approach as you. That way you can kind of get, like Lo said, different age gaps. So you can kind of get more ideas towards that specific type of circle that you're in. But you definitely always want to keep different people around you, age-wise or just to kind of give you more of an idea of where you're at. And, never hurts to get a second opinion in general.
No, I wish a lot of more older cats had your ideology on that, bro. Because, dude, if I had a doubt for how many times that veterans would write me off or anything like that just because I'm, 10 years younger than them, I'd have a decent amount of cash, bro. But like, like I said, and this is like, it's a whole new game, bro. And I feel like both ends have to be open-minded, because I will never tell a vet and be like, nah, like your way is the old way. It's never gonna happen again. But yet there's always gonna be a traffic for that regardless. Like, but how I look at it, I mean, all my mentors are over 35, and they're experienced life already. They've done everything that I've done already. But like, they give me keys on how to not do their mistakes and whatnot. So I always wish when it comes to the older generation, because there's a ton of older comedians that would love to help on how to post on Instagram, how to post their, how to use their socials to get booked out of state, but then again, they're like, oh, no, you don't know anything. No, I'm going to keep it the old way where it should be. And because one time there was a comedian that I did a show for, and he headlined it, and I was one of his openers. Bro, he literally went on like a 30-minute rant on how these newer comedians, a.k.a. me and the other guy, were being able to get booked because of all social media. He was talking about how
Man, he was mad?
He's subliminals, bro. He was like, I don't know how these comedians be getting booked out of state, and they're not even that funny. Wow. And he was like, I see both of these guys. They got more followers than me, and they ain't got nothing on me in this comedy game. And I was like, bro, I'm only at, like, at that time I was like, I'm only at 2,000. I don't know why you still at 900. But like, it's like I just push stuff out there. You know what I'm saying? And I always talk to people after my shows. Hey, how you doing, man? Thank you for supporting. Boom, boom. Here's where you find my next show. That's it.
Well, it's like the old school barber at the barbershop that'd be like, oh, dude, like, man, like, what you want to be social media famous for? Like, I'm here, I'm behind this chair, I'm getting this money. You see how busy I am? True. But the problem with being behind a chair and cutting hair and being busy is that there's a cap. There's only X amount of heads you can do a day. There's only X amount of hours you can work. There's only X amount of years your body can take that beating. What happens when that runs out? You're going to be like, oh, well, let me try to work smarter now. Let me get on the social media train. And by then, you're going to be...
Yeah.
Right. It like humbles you in a sense.
Yeah. So...
Moral story, always keep an open mind.
Yes.
Always. Well,
Always.
let me
And
ask you
have
this.
people around you.
Being someone who's obviously flown with me all over and got to experience the barber world, or the hair world, I should say, compared to a lot of other videographers, what do you think, like, I mean, because I know you follow a handful of barbers, and I'm sure you're aware of what barbers are doing and sharing and all that outside of everything else that you follow. What do you think barbers are lacking in the social media content world?
That's a great question. I think just in general, I always see it a lot too with just anyone locally. They all, I guess I could say from my perspective, right? I may be wrong, but from what I see is definitely branding. They got to get their own branding. They try to be too much like someone else that's already been doing it rather than them actually building their own personal brand in their story. But it just goes back to like, you wanting to post your type of content that actually speaks to you, tell a story, tell your personal story, tell your story of how you overcome your adversity and really share and make it your own. But generally, yeah, it's a lot of branding. They gotta really know how to brand themselves and get to that point where like you don't need to be someone else. You don't need to be a Los Cutter. You don't need to be a Sophie Stay Gold, right? So. And how would you produce that? More of like a technical tip I would give you is to just tell your story. Don't overthink it. Produce content that's actually gonna say something about you. So on a day in the life of you working in the shop, this is the type of style that you like and why you like it. How you became to be a barber, and just don't overthink content. I would just document rather than actually try to create ideas. Kind of like a day-to-day life, like what you would do in a day-to-day life, what type of haircuts you're gonna do. But more than anything, just tell your own story. Document rather
originality.
than actually.
Yeah, that'll be.
It's being originality too, because I mean, now that ever since I've been connected with Lowe's, like half of my followers are not barbers, right? So now I get to watch. Now I get to watch nothing but people cutting hair, and a lot of them do the same thing. They do the spinning around chair, and that's it, right? You know what I'm saying? The client looking like this, and but then you see the Sophie's going crazy doing her own thing, where you do see her client, but she has a message with it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? When you see a Sophie
Shout
content,
out Sophie, stay gold. Shout out Sophie.
It's her. You know what I'm saying? It's Los. It's what I'm saying? It's A-Rod. You know the specifics of people. That's why it's like the originality. Yeah, it's around cutting hair, but do your twist to it.
Right, 100%.
Not even that. Some look. If you want to be busy and build clientele, then obviously aim for posting haircuts, works, after shots. So people can see like, damn, this person can cut hair. I need a book with them. If you're trying to be more of an influencer or just somebody, if you're trying to chase fame, I guess, then there's different things you should be doing than just posting haircuts, right? Doesn't mean you can't post a haircut. It just means you're probably gonna want to do different type of content. Now, if you want to be an educator, then you post stuff about you educating and pieces of you talking and teaching people new things. So it all depends on what category you want to be in. I mean. Don't just think that the hair industry is just the hair industry. Just like the videography industry, right? It's not just people shooting content. You got people that are shooting videos, movies behind this. I mean, the list goes on and on. Now, one of the things that I want to give you props, Los, is that someone that in 2.5 years, bro, you went from working part-time at Adidas. I remember having to work around his schedule, texting him, hey, are you free this Wednesday? He's like, oh, let me see if I can call off. Let me see if I can. From that.
That's right. I had school and I was working at Adidas by then. So Los caught me actually at the start.
At the very start. At $150 start. So from that, in a 1.5 years, maybe 2 years. Now, mind you, COVID was somewhere in between that. So, So it's like, screw COVID because that screwed a lot of people's plans, right? But within a year and a half, already working with 2 Chainz, Jake Paul, meeting Gary Vee. I mean, bro, you being in parties and you got Pacino the barber flying you out at his private home for his New Year's Eve dinner party. I mean, just the things that you were able, and I'm sure you missed a lot of things you've done. But for someone that's achieved that much success and greatness, you never post about it. You never post, you never talk, you never share. And if you do it, it's more private. You send it to me personally, you send it to people personally. And I've always admired that about you because a lot of people, as soon as they get the opportunity to show something off, they instantly post and show it off and this, and you've never been like that. And to top it off, the reason why I'm saying all of this is because just when you're at the peak where I feel like a lot of videographers are like, man, look at Los out here in Miami with 2 Chainz, with Jake Paul in Puerto Rico in his crib. Look at all that. He's killing it. For you to stop all of that and just back away at 24, 25 and build your own online academy, because to me, from what I see is, damn, this guy he knows that nothing good can last forever. So you know what you were doing, but you were like, you know what? I need something that's mine, that's forever. So you stopped and you build your own online academy that you just launched a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago for your birthday. You launched that, so you're no longer really traveling. You're focused on that. How is that going for you? What made you do that transition? What were you thinking? And this just goes to show for anybody out there that's really, when they think they're killing it, dude, it's always something bigger and better that could happen. So share that story with us.
Wow, that's such a heavy question, Los. Because I'm so good with his words. This guy's so good with his words, and he knows it.
No,
I just want to know. Like,
bro, and on top of that, bro, being around both of y'all, man, I just realized how unfazed that you guys are. Like when somebody's hyping you up, you're like, because if y'all would like to put my accolades up, I'd giggle a little bit. But he was like,
well, listen, bro. Imagine you're on tour with fucking George Lopez. All the big Kevin Hart, you're killing. They're flying you out. You open, and out of nowhere, at the age of 24, you're like, I'm gonna chill for a bit, because I want to plan for my future instead of for your future.
But that's real though.
And that's what he did.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, at the end of the day, like, you can work for so many people, and there's different ways of making money in this industry in video. But there's various ways you could go about it. But at the end of the day, like, if you're working for somebody, you're eventually always going to be working for somebody, or you're always going to be under that. And that's cool. Like, there's a lot of people who strive to work for a specific type of celebrity or influencer. But generally, like, what I decided to do and step back for a little bit is because it gives me a perspective of, like, okay, there's these people specifically working for these brands, and it's cool. Like, that's cool to see and get in the field and really get to, like, know these people. But at the end of the day, like, you gotta always, there's this, what's that quote that Drake said? Don't get too highs on your highs and don't get too lows on your lows. So always kind of keep a neutral balance, just in general with your career. You don't want to get too excited for anything, and you don't want to get too down for your lows. Right. So you always want to keep a nice perspective. And what I did is just look from the outside. I'm like, okay, I'm doing all these things. I'm doing festivals. I'm doing these events. I'm doing these personal videos for these celebrities and stuff. So it just gave me a perspective. I'm like, okay, last year was super, super cool to experience all that. But when can I, like, actually build something for myself? I'm sure, Los, you already know, I've gotten so many, like, contracts and just people messages, DMs of, like, working full time for them. And although that would be cool from, like, a financial standpoint, where I'll be, like, more secure in a sense, it wouldn't give me the opportunity to really invest in myself. Facts. And I hear it from, like, a lot of these people, like, which I would also recommend you follow from your Instagram and TikTok. Just follow, like, a bunch of, like, really great, just really great people to take advice from, like your Gary V's, your Grant Cardones, your, all these really great entrepreneurs. And that's where I got the idea from, is really just growing your brand rather than always having to work for your time. So, that's where pretty much the idea stemmed from. And now that that is kind of out the way, and I've kind of finalizing the course. I'm at that point where like, okay, now that's something that's gonna live on forever. As I'm growing in my career and expanding, that was the way for me to scale it. And obviously, in the future, if anyone wants to learn from me, that was a great platform for me to always have. And it's something that's gonna live on forever. I always get a lot of questions of, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? And although I would love to help every single one of the people that ask questions on my DMs, it was eventually time for me to actually make a platform for people to exclusively ask questions and just get more of like a exact focus of how can I help them out. And just in general, we just create a cool course to anyone that wants to learn, man, because there's a lot of information out there, but people can get lost in the sauce. So
So if you were to sum it up real quick, what are some things that people could learn if they sign up to your course?
Yeah. So in general, if anyone that wants to learn content creation, video, editing, anything that from me, and just especially, it'd be a great tool for you to reach out, ask any questions through email, and it kind of gives you a sense of like, okay, I want to get started, but I don't know how to. I only have my phone, and that's all I got. It pretty much has a bunch of lessons from iPhone videography to editing, content creation, the actual structure of social media, because there's so much to it and it's constantly changing. And just any one-on-one questions, I'll make lessons for in the near future. So
what's your pricing on that course, if you don't mind?
So it's $299,
Okay.
and that's pretty much for the entire lifetime. So
nice.
think of something.
Final Cut alone is $299.
Yeah,
So-
there's also along with Final Cut and everything like that. There's some discounts as well, like discounted for Final Cut. So, I always look out and see what we can do for like especially video and audio assets. So there's something that you guys can look forward to as well if you're interested. You can get some of my personal assets, audio assets. I know Los, I always send you some of video
sounds.
and audio sounds
Yeah.
you're always looking for. So it's kind of hard to find in a world where there's a
Hell
bunch of
yeah.
info. It's kind of great to learn from me specifically if you're interested, and just narrow down the results because there's so much out there. And if
I don't think a lot of people realize like what he's talking about is even when you watch a movie, right? When you watch a movie, and you see, for example, there's a scene of somebody opening a door and walking, creeping in up to somebody. All those sounds that you're listening to, those ain't actual sounds that are being captured by the scene. These are all added on sounds. It's sound design. So what Carlos does, if you watch his videos, every sound you hear on there, none of that comes from the actual video clip. These are all sounds that if you take away the music, you just hear so much. And that to me is, these are sounds that you can't just go on YouTube and YouTube a sound. You gotta do some research and find these. So I do take a lot of his sounds. Main reason why I do take a lot of this stuff is because I like my work to be consistent. I don't want my edits and my flow to be so different from what he does or how he creates. So I try to keep everything in a similar pace, even though your level of editing is next, bro. It's like there's times where like I like to think I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good than your average videographer, right? But then you get people like Carlos that'll sit there and grab your finished work and touch it up. And I'm like,
thank you,
damn.
man. But you know what? One thing to keep in mind too, like lately it's been more of a creative side, like and Los with the recent content we've been doing, and it's not much of a crazy, like insane amount of editing time, but it's more of like really telling a story. Like it's so interesting that you bring up editing because now it's like it's been a little bit less of that and more of like, all right, how can we tell a story and how can we do this and that? And, having the sounds and video effects adds onto it. But, in general, everything's constantly changing. So just have to keep that in mind, which is something that, the course offers. As things change, you can ask questions, and then the course can obviously, I'll be there to assist with any other lessons in the future reference. So.
I'm definitely gonna check it out. I haven't had time to sit down and do it, but I want to check it out because I want to learn as much as I can from you too, right? But
yeah, it's so interesting. We have yet to catch up on it. I think we haven't seen each other in like a couple of weeks.
Since your
2 or 3
birthday, I had to
weeks.
cut your hair for your birthday for your for the release of this, and you had a festival. You had something to go to, right?
Yeah, it was like it was a festival in Chicago.
Yeah, it's literally why you came in today. We had to cut you up. But where can people find this course? How can they sign up? Where they?
Yeah, so I have the link tree in my Instagram at DirectedxCarlos, or you can go at acreatorsmastercourse.teachable.com.
Dope. All right, we got some questions from Instagrammers. We got a couple more. How many you got on there, Ruben? 3?
Tengo tres.
All right, so we got a total of 5 on this one. So you go ahead, man. Break it off first. You can read that. You can read the IGs too. Let's give credit to these people.
Okay. Let's do L_beats21. Best video editing software and how long does it take you to edit?
That's cool. That's such a great question. Well, to be honest, guys, there's not really a perfect editing software, in my opinion. Some people may disagree, but in my opinion, there's really not a specific perfect. Everyone's going to have, every editing software is going to have their pros and cons. But I'll give you my reason why I use Final Cut. I'm such an Apple guy, right? So that's kind of niche of me to specifically like Apple products. But they all pretty much work really well together, hardware and software. So the reason why I use Final Cut is because it's pretty much one of those programs where it's reliable and it's efficient with the actual hardware with MacBook Pros. Keep in mind, it's only available for MacBook Pros, so Mac users get the advantages of getting Final Cut Pro, but it's not on PC yet. Hopefully it will soon. But yeah, generally why I use Final Cut is for the efficiency and the time it saves me, because on a contrast to other programs, I hear that there's a lot of crashes on like other softwares, and I would hate to, have to go through
Just
that.
talking about DaVinci.
Yeah, man. So other than that, like, I just like it because of the reliability. I have an Apple computer; it works seamlessly, and it could be a lot better, but eventually it just gets the job done, and I know how to use it.
Yeah.
But overall, it's just efficiency, man. It's pretty fast renders.
How do you feel about like now you got like Splice, you got CapCut, you got all these phone devices that allow you to edit. Mind you, amazing editing on there quick.
Yeah, those are so good. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I wouldn't really put so much time and effort on finding the right software. I would just focus more on actually putting the content together and making your absolute best work you can.
Facts.
But yeah, I wouldn't hold off too much on like what to edit or. All you need to know from me is that I use Final Cut and then Splice whenever I need it, or iMovie.
Splice
or
is good.
iMovie.
I'm gonna download
Or
Splice.
hold on. There's another one I recently just downloaded, Light Cut.
Light? Ooh,
Light
see,
cut.
putting this on. All right, how do you feel about like being able to edit now on TikTok and IG? I've seen somebody at a show, I think it was Tucson, that showed me a video, and like, I try to be honest but sweet at the same time when people show me the work. A lot of times people show you the work and it could be some long ass boring video, and you don't want to be mean.
Yeah.
So I always try to give constructive criticism. How can they do better? So this person showed me a video that was pretty decent. I want to say if you have zero experience editing, that was a good video.
Yeah.
And I was like, what did you use to edit that? He was like, oh, I edited on Instagram. I was like, what do you mean you edit on Instagram? He's like, yeah, they allow you to kind of like how TikTok does it. You edit. I'm like, wow. Now I'm foreign to that.
Yeah.
I'll get on a TikTok. I don't edit any of my videos or use the sound the way TikTok lets me. I take all that, put it on Final Cut, and I feel that Final Cut gets me just more range of options. I can really get into the nitty-gritty of editing with Final Cut, whereas if I'm using Splice or a phone app,
Yeah, it puts you more.
you're limited. You're
Yeah.
limited.
very.
People may not notice it.
And focus too. You feel like a different sense of focus when you actually sit down and get on a computer. Yeah. Because I remember like back in my iPhone days when I used to edit on my phone, it used to be such a hassle with like.
Getting text messages and calls, yeah.
But you got to figure out ways to do it. So I had to just do it on my phone.
Yeah.
But when I got the computer, then you kind of get a sense of more like, all right, this is an official like software I can do so much with, and it's just easier to kind of begin with, so the actual professional route of editing on a computer. But with a phone, if you just need to edit like a 15-second video, that's so convenient.
So convenient, yeah. All right, next one. This is from Alexis from the Tower. He has 2 questions. One of them is kind of like not relevant. He wants to know who would win between a dance battle between you and me. It's just so
That's a great
random.
question.
It's a great question, and we don't know yet. We'll
Well,
find
I'll be
out.
honest with you, Los has more wisdom than me, so.
So you'd be like, I did the
wanna say-
Macarena back in my day.
I'll be like
That's a
Quebradita,
great
bro.
And then he'll be doing the stanky like he's like, oh,
real.
back in my day. This was,
You'd be doing.
I'll bring the what is it, the Laffy Taffy.
Oh,
The Soulja Boy?
Oh, crazy.
man.
All right, the other one, which what made it more relevant, which
Bro,
is why I even said
no,
it.
it's probably you. You got more creative. Like
Dude,
all
I
I got
can't-
is like TikTok dances, and Los got like the
Bro,
Soulja Boy.
if I'm so stiff when it comes to dancing. I had to take at least a couple shots before just to loosen up. You feel me?
Right.
All right. Question number 2 from Alex from the Tower. I wonder what tower you're talking about, bro. If you could only use one lens to shoot with, what would that be and why? Ooh,
That's such a great question.
such a great question.
Man, shout out Alex. Honestly, man, I found out that the current lens I use is pretty solid. It's the 24 to 70 millimeter. Those are that's pretty much like the neutral. It's not too wide and it's not too like narrowed down. It gives you best of both worlds in a sense, where like 24 millimeters is pretty wide, you know, to capture sceneries, landscapes. But if you wanna, you know, punch in a little bit on your shots, you get the advantage of doing that. So I would say a 24 to 70 millimeter is probably your best bet.
And why?
Just because you get a best of both worlds in a sense. And then, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
no,
pretty much it.
I enjoy those for
24-70.
close-ups.
Yeah.
I think
Which one do you use?
That pretty much because
24-70?
I'll be honest. So like you know how like every director is known for something. They're like you know like when you see a movie that is a you know what I'm saying that is a so and so film because you know how they shoot
Facts.
stuff. I think a lot of my short films are like people notice are like dude you love close-ups. I'm like yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and the 24 to 70 gives
yeah,
you pretty solid close.
And I'll be honest, bro. I don't know why, bro. I hate wide shots. I don't know why.
It's just so like I can see that because lately it's been a lot of creators just wanting to punch in the actual and less dead space. So if I had you in the frame, like right now that you're framed, you have some type of space around you.
Switch over to Baby Chata.
You have some type of space around you, but like generally, if you get a tighter shot, like if you zoom in all the way
Yeah.
to 70, then you'll get more of like you.
Yeah,
And it's cool, but like for like real estate, you gotta have like some real
Yeah, yeah,
estate
yeah.
stuff, some wide shots. I use concert. I shoot a lot of concerts and stuff, so I need the wide.
What do you think you're known for as far as the videography? Because I think I know the answer to that from my perspective. I just want to know what you think.
That's a
you're
great question. I mean, honestly, man, I always, in general, all of my videos, I always want to keep it like, all right, is this me? Is this like, does this get an exciting reaction from people? But I feel like in general, it's just music. I love music in general. And
Yeah.
a good amount of my videos have a great selection of
Yeah,
music.
I'll give you that all
Um,
day. Even
and
when
kind of-
you did my birthday video, the first one ever, dude, I was so impressed with the song selection because even though it was an older song, that it wasn't anything that was hot at the moment. It was
No,
not
it was
old.
hot. It was hot.
Do you still have
I
the
made
video?
sure of it.
You sure?
Yeah,
Do you still have the video?
100%.
Oh yeah, of course.
I need to check that
Oh,
out.
you need to see it. Okay, maybe to me it wasn't. Maybe I have heard it. I don't know. It wasn't like something that just dropped. But the way you changed the monotone on that, the way you made it sound like when you went through the window, the sound changed, and then when you went back out, it changed again. It was just
Yeah, so
it
for
felt like I was
context, for
traveling.
those people that haven't seen it, it started with a specific song, and then like
Yeah,
like
you
was it
mixed it.
halfway? It was
Yeah.
like to a different song. So yeah, I mean, I feel like music in general is pretty strong, but that's because I've always been like a pretty avid listener to music in general. But yeah, man, I mean that video was
You know what I think you're known for? What caught my eye from your work out of anyone else is your I don't want to say it wrong. What is it, like landscaping? No,
Hyperlapse?
Hyperlapse. Your hyperlapses is what caught my eye. And you know what that is, Ruben?
I do not.
Okay, so it's pretty much. How would you? No, I'll let you explain. Explain the hyperlapse.
yeah, I mean pretty much just you have a subject, right? And then you have like a really fast paced with so much blur. I mean, it's
it's just when
it's
you
one of
lock
those things-
onto a target and you're
have a
moving
sub-
around and it's just focused on that one target. And that's what he. That's dude,
yeah,
when you
but
do
I
your
think
festivals-
that because I see a lot of that in my field, so I think it's just a contrast in fields. That's why you speak on behalf of the hyperlapses. That's why you recognize me. But yeah, I mean, I see
Ooh,
that
you see,
over.
that's-
So
that's
where
actually-
that's one of those things where like it contrasts, like you can tell. And for my stuff, like I see a lot of people doing that. So
Okay.
So,
But
know, I
even
can't-
back then.
yeah, back then they were doing
Okay,
it.
you see,
yeah.
that's probably why. Because I remember when I was looking for videographers, a lot of people had, like, it was more about who can get my attention. So I would watch a video, but boring, boring. And then when I saw yours, instantly hyperlapse. I was
And
just
that's
like,
something
oh.
to keep in mind too. You always want to like not get too like not put your what is it? Don't put your
All your
eggs in
eggs
one
in one
basket
basket? Uh-huh.
because then you gotta like see. You're like, all right, cool. I'm good at this, and that. but then look at other stuff. Look at the macro, and you start saying like more people do the same thing, but like really, really good people. You can't just be following like regular people. You gotta like really like the top of your game, influencers that are doing whatever you're doing. And you're like, all right, that's been done. Like, I'm not really doing anything to kind of make it my own in a sense.
Facts.
But, you always keep a broad sense so you can kind of tell how you can mix it up or you can make it your own. So yeah, that's one of the things that
You have a question,
I would
Ru?
have thought.
Yeah, we got one more question. I don't know, through IG from Vimelo55. How did you get connected with Logan Paul?
Ooh.
That's a great question. So I feel like social media in general has played a pretty big amount of, it's just been a really great tool for me to just use in my career. So through a lot of networking, man, I just push content as much as I can. And then slowly but surely, I was in Miami and I connected with so many people from that area. And I remember like just starting out, I'm like, hey man, let's make something happen. And then surely enough, something led to another, and then another person led to another. And then I got a phone call. I'm like, hey, you want to do something in a boat? You want to, record some like really cool vibes in a party type of event in a boat? And I'm like, all right, cool, let's do it. And then once I get that video, a couple of people have seen it. And then a couple of people that were on his team actually got connected with me and the boat event. And then obviously they just saw my work. They went through my work. I'm like, all right, this guy knows what's up, right? He knows he produces content. He's on his stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it just happened kind of like through an event, but that event wouldn't have happened if I didn't create content for myself and, reach out to people and say, hey, let's make a video.
And getting out of your comfort zone, bro. You got out of your comfort zone, right? Did you put in?
Oh, all the time. You have to.
You
At the
have
end of the day,
to,
like you're in this business to really get uncomfortable in your zone and
Get uncomfortable.
self-grow. So
Get
Well,
uncomfortable.
It goes back to what I was saying, right? The whole time you were just focused on you. You were just doing you.
100%. And it was one of those things where you never really like.
You never sent out a DM to Logan. You never hit up Jake. You never hit up his video because somebody like you could have easily hit up their videographer and been like, "Put me on."
Yeah, I
coach."
mean, just a heads up, guys. Like these guys are not too like. I don't know about
They're
like,
not
the rest of the
unreachable.
people, but most of the people that are on social media, maybe not like celebrities, but like people that are in social media, they're not as hard as reach out as you might think. It's just one of those things where like if you're like Lo said, if you're focused on your own thing, you reach out to people, you reach out to like hundreds of people, like let's say a week, and eventually you'll get a yes. So
And people
reach out.
Before you say something, Ruben. No, I've always stressed about like when you focus on yourself, people come to you.
100%.
So my thing is like I know you didn't reach out to any of his people or nothing. You just did you, and that's how those connections come, and that's how easy things can happen instead of you having to reach out. Now, do you reach out to different people? I reach out to probably like 50 models at a time sometimes in DM.
Yeah,
them.
that's something I lack. I definitely lack reaching out. I feel like just the start of my career, me reaching out more on like DM or email
Yeah.
would have been beneficial. But, at the end of the day, like I just wanted to put that energy more into myself and put content out. But yeah, that's one of those things where I probably would have done better is reaching out.
It's all good. You're still killing it. Ruben, my bad. We interrupted you like 6 times.
I forgot, but I forgot. But regardless, man, síguele, bro. Like, I mean, we covered that in episode 1. You stay true to yourself, and you keep doing your, you light the, you shine the light on yourself, and sooner or later someone
That's
will
key,
take
man.
notice.
That's really key. Like I can't stress this enough, guys. Like once you really start focusing on yourself, creating your content, building your brand, like things will just really just go to you towards your way. It's kind of crazy, but it's just one of those things where you just gotta stay consistent and don't lose that focus because a lot of people sometimes feel down and they don't feel like posting or doing anything. But those are the times where you really gotta narrow down and put in that focus because at the end of the day, like if you look back, if you stay consistent in content right now, if you look back from like a year from now, right?
Yeah.
And you're gonna be like, wow, like these are the things that I learned, and these are the things that I'm improving in, and
Nice.
just like this podcast, right?
No,
At the
yeah,
end of the day,
yeah.
you just have to stay consistent with everything.
Consistent, bro. And then as you see, bro, we just keep getting better and better. One last question on my end, which is a famous question that a lot of filmmakers get, is when a client reach out to you, do you hate this question? Because I kind of do. When they ask you what's your rate versus you respond, what's your budget?
If I hate it, you're asking.
Well, yeah, I guess that's what I'm pretty much saying.
What are you asking? Hold on.
Like so a lot of videographers, well, filmmakers in general, because I got people that will do it for me, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so when it comes to like, hey man, how much is it to shoot a movie? I'm like, well, what is your budget? And they're like, well, what's your rate? Do you prefer going off budget, or do you already have a flat rate in mind?
Those is rate all day.
You always have to, like, generally speaking, they always have to give you the number. You never want to put the number first, for sure. But it also comes down to, like,
Now, is this only for videography, or is this the rule of thumb in all business?
generally, like, videography. I don't know about all businesses, right? Because I can't.
Yeah,
speak
because
on
if
behalf of
I'm
other
getting hired for a show, I'm not gonna be like, "What's your budget?" No, sir, it costs this much to have me
gotcha.
out there. Respectfully, this is
right.
what I.
But then it also comes down to like where you're at, right? Like, are you just starting out,
True,
or you're
facts.
a pro where like you can kind of give a balance from like, all right, but let's say I'm not getting that much of a good budget, but it's a great opportunity for me. So
Yeah.
it kind of comes down to like where you're at, you know?
Yeah.
So, but generally, yeah, you never really want to give the first number away.
I do like the "What's your budget?" question, because as a creative, as the same thing right, as me as a creative person, I need to, for example, me and Ricky, we just got booked for August 12th, 2023. That's a whole year from now for a wedding. We've never done a wedding ever. And that's one thing I want to talk to you about after this podcast. We've never done
Am I shooting a wedding now?
No, hold on.
First wedding?
My buddy wants me to be a part of his wedding. So
Okay.
I need a monster to shoot it. You ain't got to edit anything, but obviously you'll be taken care of. If you're not available, there's a list of other people that I can holler at. You're number
available.
one.
Look at it.
You know what's funny? It's like I already told Los I've never done an actual wedding, like video wise.
Bro.
So-
And it's so funny because Los always brings it up when you're gonna do a wedding. When are you gonna do a wedding?
So hold on. So he's like, I'll give you creative everything. He's like, I just want something different. I want this and that. So I'm like, cool. That's the only reason why I took it. But as a creative, I could have been like, give me 10 G's. Right? But also, I need to know what your budget is, because based off your budget is based on how I'm gonna perform. If you tell me, Los, I'm willing to pay you $8,000, then I'm gonna give you an $8,000 production. Beautiful. If you
Right.
give me a $5,000 budget, then I'm gonna give you a $5,000 production. If you say, Los, I could only afford to give you $2,000, then you're gonna
Right,
get
you
a
gotta feel it
$2,000.
out. You gotta feel
Right.
it out. And it doesn't mean that
It's gonna be worse or better.
If they
Yeah.
give you the number first, it's not a good or bad thing. It's just more of like all right, let's see where you're at and let's see what I can do to provide to help with that budget.
Exactly. So, do you go
same
based
thing.
off? Well, yeah, you pretty much answered it. It depends on where you're at in your
Yeah.
career, right? All right.
Yeah, and hourly I mean, for me, I never really did hourly wise. I just wanted to make sure I did the whole like video and make sure I make it the best. I was never really an hour person. Even with Los, like my first video, I'm just like, dude, I just want to make the best video. You know, we'll set a solid budget, which was 150.
Oh, man, I remember when I first told him, I was like, Los, if I could afford you. All right, what was one of the first things I told you when we first met? I said, dude, you're such a beast. You're so good. Don't let any of these companies lock you in, because there's nothing better than being free. And doesn't mean you can't work with nobody. You can work with everybody. Just don't let nobody lock you in a contract.
Right.
And you did just that.
But some people can like use that to their advantage. Like, if let's say someone's just starting out doing video, right? And they want to kind of have a secure financial goal. One great way to do that is to be in a retainer, right? So like, let's say if I was working with you, Los, and we got on a retainer, then that would consist of like maybe 2 or 3 monthly projects. But that will also, like as a videographer, that will secure your financial side of things. But I mean, yeah, in general, like you always want to, well, that kind of goes down, the contract thing kind of goes down to like the type of person, because maybe not everyone wants to build their own brand and do this.
Some
crazy
people don't
stuff.
mind being behind the scenes.
Some people
Yeah.
don't.
You
Maybe
know,
you just want to lock in and grow exponentially with someone. So
that's dope. All right. Well, for those wondering right now, what's your rate going for right now? If someone wanted to book, let's just say a festival, someone wanted to bring you to a festival and they wanted you to film a recap or a party or anything in that sense, what's your rate?
They gotta reach out, man. at the same time, it's just one of those things where like back when we said, right, if I gotta know where you're at and see if I'm available. Even if I'm available, sometimes I'm just like traveling or YouTube. Like I'm venturing into YouTube tech now, so that's something that I really want to grow. And but yeah, I would just say reach out, because at the end of the day, like
It varies.
it just varies in where I'm
Yeah.
at. Sometimes I'm in Puerto Rico.
Well, if you had to
sometimes
give it a ballpark answer, you try not to do anything less than what? And what's the most, if you don't mind answering, what's the most you've gotten paid for a project?
Of course. No, I mean, ballpark wise, I would just start at 5,000. 5,000 for an actual video. But for me to actually put in the
Now, hold on,
planning.
is this for your average person or is this a company price?
No, just starting price.
For anybody?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take your course, dog. Cause
He said he went from 150
it was directed by Ruben. Here coming
to
soon, dog.
5Gs. Holy
Yeah. So it's one of those things where like I gotta really know where you're at. I gotta know the person. But generally, like for those of you asking me, as of what is it, Tuesday the 27th, September 2022, it's 5,000. For the shooting, the editing, because and then the raw footage and all that. But
Dude, that's so
you know.
sick.
I did get a before we even connected. Lo sent me a little thing you did for me during my comedy show when they brought me up and you recorded the swinging the crowd with a video. You probably don't even remember.
I feel like I do. Oh yeah, the iPhone video.
Yeah. You were like, you did your thing. I was like, oh, what's that? Did you shoot that? He's like, nah, dude. Lo showed you love. I was like, damn, that's dope, man. So
That's the thing about him, bro. All right, one of the things I admire about him, and is that I worked with countless videographers, photographers. I worked with Barbers, anybody that's always been a part of the team. And because I've been in this for quite a while now, experience does mean a lot in this industry, right? So I'm so used to always having to tell people what to shoot. If I'm bringing a videographer, I'm like, yo, get this, get that, which I don't mind. But with him, it was never had to worry about it. It was always, I could just do me and he'll reach out to me and be like, Los, come over here. I like this view. Do that again. Walk over here. And I'm like, wow, this is what he's getting paid for. Now, guys, listen. Am I paying Carlos 5Gs every time I work with him? Hell no. But I want you guys to know I do spend money when we work with each other. Which is now, like, I really don't do a lot of crazy shows anymore like I used to, like when we were traveling all the time. But you best know that every time I hire Lowe's, I'm dropping a pretty bag. And he benefits me because that bag that I drop on him, I'm not just getting a full recap video. This guy's filming behind the scenes, people taking photos with me. He's doing reels that take 15 seconds to film, and he's giving me a whole
catalog.
And one thing to add too is like obviously it's not just using the best equipment, right? Like everything proprietary MacBook, your Sony, like everything pristine, and not just equipment wise, but the actual statistic wise. So like whenever I sit down with someone and a client is asking like, we want this, this, and that, I'm like, okay, so why do you want these type of videos when you can have this, which will do a lot better? So it's more like social media, and obviously the little technical stuff like shooting, getting all the angles, and making sure that the turnaround is pretty fast too, because I waste no time. Usually 2 to 3 days for the most part.
Not even that, dude. There's times where all right, so he has it down to the T when it comes to barber shows. This guy would film. We usually get there 9 a.m. and the show ends around 6. He'll film like 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11, 12, he's in the back editing. 2 p.m. he comes back out, captures a couple things, goes back around 3 or 4, edits it. 6 p.m., he's filming the ending of the show. By the time we're off to dinner or after dinner, by the next morning, the recap's already done. Whereas in videographers film all day, they get home, they transfer all the footage. Now, mind you, dude, transferring footage and getting clips together alone, that shit will have you busy for hours. So what I've noticed about him is that you've learned to work efficiently, as in like me when I cut hair. If I know I'm going to do a 1 on the beard and I'm also using a 1 on the side, I'm not going to use the 1 on the side, put it down and go somewhere else. No, if I got the 1, I'm using that 1 on everything so I can be more efficient with my time.
Right.
And that's how I've noticed that you work. And this is why Babyliss has zero issue hiring you and paying you what you want. Level 3 loves you. You know, they understand that. They finally see, okay, this guy's...
And it's just one of those things too, like not just the pricing and tells in the video, but you also get like, the little things where like it's narrowed down to what you need. Maybe you might not need it, right? Which I respect. Some people like want this exact thing and just this. But at the same time, like I would much rather have my videos that I produce really work for the person and the client rather than it just being, oh, here's a video.
That's facts. All right, we got one last question from Instagram. We got a few more, but I think this one's the last important one that I like. Ninib the Barber wants to know, what are your favorite plugins?
That's a great question.
That's a real good
To be honest, I mean, dude, like in my course, I never really do a lot of crazy presets and plugins and effects. Like most of the stuff is in camera and stuff you can do in your editing software. Surprisingly, there's not a lot of plugins that I've been using lately. Obviously, that might change in the future, but for the most part, like I like to keep everything clean from in-camera transitions to actual editing and software, but not much plugins. I mean, I know there's a lot of good ones out there. If anything, I would recommend just getting on like the Cinepacks. Those Cinepacks are pretty solid. If you had an actual answer, Cinepacks are pretty solid. And yeah, I mean, other than that, like I said, it's just more in-camera transitions and actual in software that you don't really need a actual plugin for.
That's dope. For those of you guys that don't know what plugins are, what would be the easiest way to break it
Just
down?
effects, video effects.
Video effects.
Any transition effects. You guys see the zoom ins, the swipes. But most of the stuff, like I said, is just in-camera stuff.
That's dope. I mean, we already hit the hour mark. I think that this is a
I just
great
saw that.
podcast.
It's crazy.
I like that. We have to have a timer in here because we'll get lost. We'll be in here
Yeah,
for
yeah.
about 2 hours.
It felt like what, 20 minutes?
Easy.
If that, bro.
But Ruben, is there anything you want to add before we sign out?
Nah, just give you your roses, bro, man. Just seeing you, because
Thank you, bro.
it wasn't even just till when I met Los. You know what I'm saying? Me and Ricky been boys for a while, and he always shared your stuff, and I'm like, man, that dude's dope, bro. Like whoever he is, he's cool. He going crazy with his content, JC did a lot of my behind the scenes work, and he always talked you up. So I was like, man, one day, we're gonna align somehow, and then boom.
Thank you, bro. It's crazy that it took this long for us to actually like connect in a sense, because
You know what it is? I think it was just the sense that we always knew we had each other's back, so we were just always trying to reach what we can't get.
and this is the right time too, because like I said, I'm not really doing any more freelancing stuff. I'm focusing more on YouTube and obviously the course, and now recently partnerships, which you already know, but I can't talk about. But
Yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like, freelancing is cool, but at the end of the day, like personally, I chose the path where like I can really make those opportunities for myself rather than coming to me for the most part. And you do that
100%.
by creating a content,
Yep.
scaling it, obviously making the course, YouTube, TikTok, and just have fun with it, man. At the end of the day, just have fun and
Let it come naturally.
Let it come
Real
naturally.
talk.
Yeah.
Now I gotta
but
get.
balance is a good thing too, because
Oh.
lately I gotta work on balancing.
I'm
work
trying to
life.
balance my life now. I'm taking a break for 3 months of projects. So everything that I produce from here on out would be just simply from the trips that I take, simple things that won't require.
It's crucial, man.
Yeah.
I can't stress it enough. Like, especially for the creative, because like I said, this is more of a nuanced thing. Like in 2000, like years ago, we didn't have all this social media content creation. So
Shit, 10 years
It's
ago,
just-
15 years ago, barely.
it's just one of those things, man, where like you gotta really take a break because it takes a lot of mental energy off of you, and we don't know. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people out there. We don't know what the end result would be if you do this for like the next 20 years. So
That is facts.
balance, man. It's all about that balance. Find the right balance.
Well, I gotta give an opportunity for the man behind the camera, the ones that's flipping the switches on all the cameras, being able to capture everything going on. JC, who's also finally got a mic, who's also a barber, who's also a videographer. JC, you got any questions for Mr. Carlos before we sign out?
Let me look here.
He said, let me get my notepad
I know
out.
he's taking notes.
Save his notes.
I was figuring this out before we started.
Yeah, shout out JC.
Big shout out to JC.
So I guess
Switch over to Los.
I was gonna ask you what's next for you, but you kind of talked about that, how you want to switch away from freelancing to YouTube and your partnerships and everything.
Yeah, it's just really scaling and making sure that you're working really smart and actually strategizing. You don't want to get, well, at least me, of course, right? I don't want to just say that I'm right all the time. But personally, just me, I don't want to just get stuck doing one thing all the time. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just more on like scaling, and how do I scale is by having a platform for me to share and be able to monetize my audience that wants to learn from me, and just having a platform where I can help out. And then obviously YouTube, which is separate from like filmmaking. I may tie it together, but for those of you who don't know, I really love tech, and every single thing that I kind of get on the mail is having to do with phone cameras, anything relating to tech. Really, I just have a lot of, stuff that I unbox. So I'm like, wait, I don't want to just make content out of this. So that's
sick.
been the most
Unboxing,
recent venture that I've done. But yeah, that's separate from video.
What's your,
I may tie it
what's your
together.
channel? Your YouTube channel?
My name, my full name.
Just YouTube, Carlos, directed by
Yeah,
Carlos?
yeah. So I've planned it. So like whenever I get the plaque, the YouTube plaque, for it to just have my name. Because it could have
like
another
Carlos
name.
Gonzalez, your full
Yeah,
name?
yeah, my full
what?
name. Yeah.
You're a savage.
Yeah. So everything's in the actual link tree. So
Nice.
when
That's
you
sick.
click on the Instagram, just click link tree. So
That's dope, man. Well, Jay, anything else before we sign out?
Yeah, before we wrap up, what was your favorite project that you've ever worked on?
Ooh.
wow, I'm surprised no one asked that earlier.
Yeah, I was really
Just
curious
FYI,
about that.
Los actually just posted the questions like an hour ago. So.
Yeah, literally, I only gave these people an hour. I was like, because we had our own questions.
Man, that's a great question. To be honest, it's just one of those things where there's been a lot, and
All right,
once
well, you want to
kinda
keep
like
it
that-
barber
once that-
related?
Once kind of like that is dust is settled, like you just look back and see what type of projects really like made an impact in general in the industry. And I feel like, I mean, barber related, of course, like the videos that me and Los have produced have been all kind of
Yeah.
pretty impactful in a sense where like people got a lot of inspiration, and every time people see Los's videos, they're like, oh, I kind of want to recreate that. And
Nice.
what do you have, Los? I know you said something about it. Being
Well,
in the
I mean,
barber
I want to make it non-biased. Obviously, we work together. I know what we've done together has been sick. Some, if not the best videos I've made. But let's just say, just take it outside the industry. I mean, you work with celebrities, bro.
I mean, just in general, I feel like
who was that?
my,
it had to be something.
one thing
that
that
hit.
sums, I mean, to be honest, no, like I said, I just keep a neutral stance that, just ignore my highs and don't get too
Beautiful.
lows in my lows. So if I had to see one that you guys have to check out, is definitely the 2021 director's reel that I did, which is on my Instagram. You just click on the,
Was it the whole 2021 recap?
yeah, just a recap, like a whole recap.
There
Just
you go.
a little recap of like what I actually work on. And
So what was cool about
Hello.
that was a personal project. That wasn't like, oh, I was out here with Gary Vee, I was out here with 2 Chainz. And that just goes to show something you did that recapped your entire thing was your favorite project ever.
yeah, personal projects for sure. You definitely want to, if you do video, you definitely want to have a lot of good personal projects, because you never know where that will lead to. And that video did really good. I had a lot of good feedback from that.
Oh, you're a monster, bro.
So can I ask that too to you then?
What was my favorite project?
Who's your favorite person you've cut ever for? Like, not favorite person, because I'm sure it's not even a celebrity, but like,
Yeah, I was gonna say
who is not a celebrity? What is like the celebrity that I wouldn't even, I don't know if you get starstruck, bro, but like,
Nah.
what was that one though? Since you guys said like, what was that one? What was your one?
I mean, the biggest celebrity, in my opinion, that I've cut was Frank Ocean.
Okay, cool. Oh,
Yeah, I cut Frank
It was so
Ocean.
random. This
No,
guy
but can't-
literally hit me up. He's like, "Oh, some guy named Frank Ocean hit me up."
Yeah, so fun fact.
I'm like,
listen,
dude,
Wait,
Frank
what?
Ocean's like,
listen,
go.
listen, hold on. In my defense, I'm horrible with names.
yeah.
I am. Like, I'll meet you, and I always say this to people, and I don't mean to sound arrogant or anything, but coming from an industry, as long as I've been doing it, you meet a lot of people. So many people that it starts to become something that I don't even get to store that in my head anymore. It just becomes so like an everyday thing. So when I meet people, it's easy for me to forget unless you have some sort of impact in my
Yeah.
life. Once you impact my life, then it's easier for me to remember you. That doesn't mean that I just don't care. I'm just
yeah.
horrible with
No,
it.
no, that's fine, yeah.
It's one of my flaws. I have the worst memory when it comes to names. I knew who Frank Ocean was based off his music.
Uh-huh.
So when I'm cutting hair, I'm at the shop and I get call. Shout out to the homie Dan Pierre from California. He's the GOAT. He cuts a lot of A-list celebrities he can't talk about. hits me up random as hell. He's like, hey, Los, you know, you available today or tomorrow? I forgot how it went. He's like, I got Frank Ocean. Now I remember I was like, Frank Ocean. The only person that came to mind was what was my man Denzel Washington, American Gangster? What was his name? Frank. Help me out here, guys.
Oh man, I gotta. Look
Nobody?
this up.
See?
At the top of my head, bro.
But you know, it was something
Bro.
Frank.
I'm like the worst person you asked. I never watch any movies, bro.
People are gonna be watching this like, how do you not know that? Go on, let's see your
I'm
Google.
about to find it.
Frank White?
Frank Lucas.
Frank Lucas.
Yeah.
So for whatever damn
You thought
reason,
it was Denzel.
no, obviously no, right? But when he said Frank Ocean, I envisioned Frank Lucas in my head. I'm like, who the Frank Ocean? I'm like, why does it sound so familiar? So I remember asking the shop, I'm like, yo, does anybody know who Frank Ocean is? And the first dude, my guy Dante, you know Dante, Carlos, he turned around, he's like, no way. And I'm like, what? He's like, don't tell me about to cut his hair. I'm like, who is he? And he's like, you don't know who Frank Ocean is? I'm like,
Just like our reaction.
I'm like, kinda. And then he played his music. I'm like, oh yeah, I know who that guy is. Okay, Frank Ocean. I put two and two together.
Yeah.
Sure enough, he came. Now that was the biggest. Was it my favorite? Probably not, because in my experience, for whatever reason, this is why I don't cut celebrities. I feel like I've always had bad luck with celebrities. It's almost like the universe is trying to tell me, Los, don't go after that. Because every time I've ever cut a celebrities, from having an opportunity to cut Trey Songz, from some basketball athletes, I've had, a few other people, B-list actors that aren't really big but are big. I had an opportunity to cut, what's my man from the barbershop, Anthony, the funny
Anderson.
guy. Anthony Anderson. I had an opportunity to cut him, and everything went to shit. They give this guy my number. He texts me, hey, Los, what's up? I'm like, hey, listen, I'm going to be out of town this week. I get back this day. Feel free to hit me up whenever. I get back, don't hear from him. I wait a couple of days. I text him back, hey, Anthony, did you still want to call? He's like, oh, you never got back to me, so I went with someone else. I'm like, well, clearly, if you look at the thread, I said, I'll be back this day. If you need a cut, let me know. So with celebrities, and I'm sure he's a great guy.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, look, okay, if you're about that life, if you wanna if you wanna cut celebrities, if you wanna travel and go to clubs and be a part of that life, that's cool. Then chase that. I don't care for that. That don't mean nothing to me, because I got regular clients that are regular people that come to me and work with my hours that pay me double what celebrities pay. So to me, it's like, I don't need to cut a celebrity unless you want to benefit from what a celebrity can do for you.
Yeah.
Right.
The issue with a celebrity is that they can drop you like this. The moment you're not available, you think if P. Diddy hit up my homie Marcus, and Marcus was like, man, bro, I can't even do it. It's my kid's birthday. You think P. Diddy's going to be like, all right, bet, we'll wait for tomorrow? Hell no.
No.
P. Diddy's going to find another barber, and he's going to make it happen. It is what it is. Not necessarily P. Diddy. I'm just saying celebrities in general. And I've heard stories. That's why, to me, it doesn't matter to me, because I have a better relationship with regular people that have a lot of money, that aren't famous, but that are humble enough to respect my time and my work ethic.
Right.
And that's it. So anyone cutting celebrities up, man, if you got lucky and you got to build that relationship with that celebrity, dope. But that's not what I chase. So when you ask me who was my favorite person or project, it'll be somebody you probably never heard of.
Gotcha.
But who's the biggest? I say Frank Ocean was the biggest. And that was mission.
No
Just
man.
goes to show, man.
No
To
man
each his
get it.
own.
Yeah, I cut his hair like 5 times that day. Yeah, it went from him asking me what I should give him, and I gave him an option. I'm like, I think this will look good, to him being like, nah, let's do something else. And then we did about 3 other haircuts and ended up with what I originally told him we should get. And then you're talking 3.5 hours of cutting his hair. And, you know, I charged him what I charged him. He paid me, but it was just like, man, was it worth the headache?
Yeah.
Right.
Nah. No, and then it's because I don't know, we're really kind of talking about celebrities. Like, I had a cool recent celebrity moment the last Wednesday when we got done filming with A-Rod, and I told, I got the call. I was trying to put JC on. I was like, JC, let's do it. And he was like, no, okay. And so luckily we found, a videographer, but I got to direct NLE Choppa for his music video with
Who was that?
NLE Choppa.
Oh, dope.
And he's young, bro. He's like 21. Very, very young rapper, but like, dude is popping, bro. Like, stream wise, he's the 11th, biggest rapper right now, streaming wise. And for him to get a song with my boy Cannon, that was huge. But like meeting him, and like, he's just really cool. Like, and it's funny because I've learned to not to be like, oh my God, starstruck, because you know, I did a video with Twister before, Montana 300. So,
Nice.
you know, I met people, you know, that are like I looked up to, you know, and you know, meeting Untitled Chapter, he was just very. I would have thought, you know, he's younger than me. Maybe he's gonna be. I don't know how professional he's gonna be, but nah,
Right.
dude was chill. His mom's his manager, so he's
That's fire.
very low key. You know what I'm saying? He ain't everywhere out there like that. And but you know, just meeting him too, it was one of my favorites because he took direction very well. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like we had a big music
Yeah.
video. It was just basic, like, hey, bro, come over here real quick. I'm gonna have you shoot these, boom, boom, boom. He all right, bet, boom, boom, boom. Got him done. I was like, oh, we wrapped him in like maybe 30, 40 minutes of, you know.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so.
And it's nice when you work with people like that.
Exactly, and it was easy to work with, like, because other people would have been like, okay, let's go over here.
Dude.
I
I know barbers that cut celebrities up that'll be like, yeah, man, I was at his hotel for like 4 or 5 hours and I only cut his team up. I didn't get to cut him up. And I'm just like, man, the disrespect. Like, come on, man. Like, and I'm not gonna sit here and just bash, but it just my experiences with celebrities haven't been good, which
Yeah.
is why I don't chase it because I don't care for it. If I do come across somebody that's genuinely a good connection, then hell yeah, I would love to
Right.
take that opportunity. But other than that, it's not something I'm chasing. My thing was like Carlos said, like I want to be like I want my brand and I want my services to be first. I don't want to ever feel like I'm working for somebody.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's why I was like,
Yeah, I
no.
mean, at the end of the day, to each his own, right? So like,
Yeah.
everyone has their own type of experiences and things that really make them successful. But you know, you gotta really, at the end of the day, know what works for you and what you really like and what you value.
Facts.
Facts, man.
Hell
Man,
yeah.
this has been an amazing episode.
Oh yeah, sorry guys,
man.
we kept it longer than an hour. We usually try to keep it short.
It's all good.
But with that being said, man, it was a dope episode. We got directed by Los. Follow
Thank
him.
you guys. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys being
course.
here for me. It was just bound to happen, man.
Of
So,
course,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
It was just one of those things where like, all right, this is the first episode, and we're gonna see exactly how it is from like 2 years from now or 3 years from now.
Ooh, that
Whenever
will
we
be
get
the
that.
next Joe Rogan. Now,
Oh,
but imagine
recap, bro.
Now, my goal here is just to keep it consistent, bring people on, and grow every episode. Every episode, we have technical difficulties that we have to fix on the next episode. But with that being said, we're all getting familiar with having people in here and asking the right questions. And I think you've definitely answered a lot of cool stuff that barbers, and not just barbers, any social media
Anybody.
content creators can get.
Yeah, and if
great
they do
advice.
have any specific questions, definitely reach out through DM. I'll see what I could do.
Yeah, that's
Like I said.
Directed X. So directed by Carlos. Directed X Carlos.
But you got to
Sir.
say you saw the podcast to get that
That
question.
answer.
The answer,
Yeah,
yeah.
because-
You gotta be, and I'll,
'cause if
I'll
you-
also check to see if you're following the studio in Los. So
And
yeah,
you gotta follow us three. You gotta. There's raffle rules to
And
this.
people
bro.
are like, yeah, nah,
They gonna follow.
No,
and they
for real,
unfollow
yeah,
when they done.
Yeah, for real.
But hey, thank you guys, man. This has been In the Cut with Los Cut It, Baby Horchata. And today's guest is directed by Carlos, the sickest videographer, in my opinion. Let's go.
Peace.
Sheesh. Oof, that was nice. Close it out for the camera real quick.
Just have confidence in yourself. You know, if you're thinking about just creating content, just do it. Do it on your phone. You don't need a special camera, no nothing. Now it's the perfect time to actually go out and do it yourself. And yeah, guys, if you have any specific questions, feel free to DM me. I'll see what I can